1989. God damn, it's been almost 40 years. It was 1989. I can remember the year because that's the year that Living Color released their first album, and they had a smash hit, Cult of Personality. And when they went on tour, they came to Atlanta, Cotton Club, and I went to see them. And that night I decided that I want to make a rock group as well. So, me and Larry, he worked at a record store, and I had met him maybe a month or two earlier, and we both like rock music, played guitar, talked about doing something, but ultimately I was playing an R&B group at the time, and I just did not see a black group in the South, in Atlanta, playing rock and roll. I thought it would be hard to impossible to do. And then I went to that Living Color concert, and it was like, boom, Larry was there. I told him I'll call you tomorrow. And that's when we started holding auditions. And that's when the first iteration of Naked Truth was started. The original vocalist was Teddy Crockett. Most of the songs that appeared on the first album, he was the one that wrote those songs. Red River, Third Eye Spy, Tormented World, Lovejoy. We were playing those songs from the beginning when we started. We started writing immediately. And Crockett wrote those songs. Crockett wound up leaving the group just as we started getting real popular in Atlanta. Like, you could tell something was about to happen. Like, you just felt like we were on the verge of breaking through. And that's when he left. And the vocalist you see in the video, Doug Watts, that's when I asked him to join, to take Crockett's place. And Doug was somebody I knew. He was also a friend of Larry's. And Doug had a death metal thrash group that he fronted. He's also a guitar player. Las Vegas Nosferatus. It was a trio, kind of like a cross between, Metallica and whatever else kind of group you could think of. Like, that was like, they shit was hard. That shit was, it wasn't my type of music, but I recognize good when I hear it. But his group had disbanded, so he wasn't doing anything. So I asked him if he stepped in, and he stepped in. The original group members: Josh Beck on bass, me on guitar, Teddy Crockett on vocals, and Bernard Dawson on the drums. Me and Bernard were in the R&B group, rehearsing, practicing at the same time. But me and Bernard were both, like, we had eclectic musical tastes, I would say. We listened to rock, jazz. We would talk about everything from Return of Forever, Mahavishnu Orchestra, to John Coltrane, to, Van Halen, to, whatever. So we were the only two original members that made it all the way through until we got signed. We got signed by Sony SOHO Records in London. I'm jumping around, I'm skipping around. This is a long story, but I want to break this down into several videos as far as like how we started, what caused the split, why I walked away from $100 million 10 album record deal, which most people should know nowadays. Like, when you sign $100 million record deal, that don't mean you get $100 million, right? But I would say the riff probably started when it really started when Doug, the singer, shortly after he joined the group, he ran into Bernard Rhodes in Atlanta. Bernard Rhodes is he was former manager of the Clash, Sex Pistols, and he took Doug to bookstore, and they had some, you know, 50 greatest rock and roll, some great rock and roll book or whatever, and he opened the book and showed Doug his name in there and told him who he was, and he liked Doug and he wanted to make Doug a star. This is the story I'm told. Doug was like, nah, I got a band. Boom. And that's how it started. But the riff started immediately because I couldn't stand the motherfucker from the jump. Bass player Josh Beck, he didn't like him. He actually quit the band. He actually quit. He said, if y'all going with him, I quit. The guy was full of shit. I mean, you could tell if you talked to him, but you know, it caused a rift in the band because Bernard and Doug wanted to, you know, they wanted to go with him. They wanted to be stars. They wanted to, this was like the quickest avenue. Now, at the same time, I'm skipping ahead like years. I think it was like, I started the band in 89. I think it was 92. Between 91 and 92, where we signed that record deal with Sony. Corey Glover, the lead singer for Living Colour, he had us open for Living Colour at Center Stage when he played in Atlanta. And then he invited us to New York to stay with him for like a few days. And he paid for, you know, studio time, everything. He came out of pocket with everything. Took us to the studio, recorded a demo tape for us. I'll never forget that. There's a lot of slime balls in the music industry, but you're gonna meet some really, really good people. Corey Glover is one of them. And also the guy who produced our first album, Guy Sigsworth. I'll get into him later. And yeah, the guy who produced our second album as well, Bo Hill. He, you know, back in the day, he was doing the 80s hair bands. You know, he produced Rat, you know, Round and Round, those records, Winger. And at this time in the 90s, he was, I guess, expanding his sonic palette, trying to do different things. And he had recently produced Bad Brains, was another group that we were inspired by. And he came in looking for another one, another like indie type band to produce, and he wound up producing the second album, The Cure. But anyway, I'm getting off track. Where was I? So basically, Doug met Bernard Rhodes. It immediately caused a rift because, you know, he was just this guy. I called him the devil. The shit that he did, it just immediately caused a rift. But anyway, at the same time, Corey took us up to New York, and he's recorded a demo tape. Awesome. He actually sung on. I wish I had that tape. He actually, hopped on one of our tracks, Red River. We finished putting the tracks down, and I'll never forget it. He was he's in the studio, and he told the engineer, run it back. I'm gonna do something real quick. Put down the most amazing vocals and ad libs on the end of Red River. But yeah, so anyway, he did that. So right after we get back to Atlanta, we did this demo tape with Corey. So of course, he's gonna try to get us a deal or whatever. That's what we're thinking. I'm hyped. Everybody's hyped, and Bernard Rhodes shows up with $100 million 10-album deal from Sony Records, Sony SOHO Records, and he puts them down on the table in front of us. We're at Mix restaurant in Buckhead, and so the first thing I said was, yeah, we need to get a lawyer to look at it, because he was sounding like he wanted us to sign it right then. I was like, man, you fucking crazy as hell. So everybody, Bernard and Yomi, they're like, look, $100 million record deals don't come in front of you every day. And that caused a rift, because then he was like, you think you know the music business, and you about to fuck up everything, and blah blah blah. So I gave in, went along with it. Wound up signing it, because when you're presented with something you know is fucked up, and you know it's gonna be fucked up, in the back of your mind it's like, okay, we're good, we're so good, we're gonna make a dope ass album. We'll just do what all the other groups did before us. You hear these stories where they fired a management or whatever. So I was like, okay, well, that's what we're gonna have to go through. But yeah, you got to put up with a lot of shit, and I just couldn't do it no more. So by the end of that, the end of the 3 years, because we lived overseas. We toured the UK, 2 of our own tours. One tour, the last tour, opening up for Living Color, because we were label mates with them by then. We opened up for their UK tour. I think this was in '94. And after that, it was shortly after that, after all the drama and all the stuff, I was like, this ain't worth it. I'm not going crazy. And, they still wanted to be with Bernard Rhodes, and, I just didn't. It had gotten to the point where they had even actually held, auditions for another guitarist at one point, because I did not get on the plane to go back overseas when we came back from the first tour. I did not get on the plane to go back. We were supposed to get some money. I knew we were supposed to get in advance. All I wanted to do was to get some guitars and set up a little home studio where I could make music anytime I felt like it. And I forgot how much money it was. It wasn't even that much. It was like a few $1,000s, like maybe 2,000, 3,000, whatever. And we were coming back home for the holidays after that first tour that we did. And they said, well, before you guys go, why don't you record some songs, and then you come back, we'll really see what we have here or whatever. So, because we did the tour and they were getting all these good reports about other places we played or whatever. So they want to record a few songs, maybe put out an EP or something. Man, the money we were supposed to get, me coming home for the holidays, I went to the bank to get the money, and they told me the account was frozen. And when I called Bernard Rhodes, he hung up in my face. And I was in New York with a girlfriend I had at the time, had no way to get back to Atlanta. So I had to call. I had to call my mom. Western Union me money to get back home after going overseas. Everybody, you got a $100 million record deal. You made it. We went on tour. I come back home and I got to call my parent. Can y'all send me some money to get back to Atlanta? So I was livid. I was done after that. Anyway, I'd already checked out anyway because of the shit we went through over there. The bass player you see in the video, his name is Kwame. Really nice guy. But he was not the bass player of the group. The way he was presented was we were brought overseas one at a time so as to not have to get work visas. So we were kind of snuck into, coming in as tourists or whatever. So when I get there, the bass player that we had at the time, because Josh, our original bass player, quit, we had another bass player named Jeff Blunt, and he was good. And I was really excited about the possibilities of making music with him, because his style was different from Josh, but he was really good. It reminded me of Marcus Miller. He was in that style, those New York bass players. And me and Jeff were the final two. Bernard and Doug was already overseas. They were brought over first. Well, the tour dates were already set, and they were actually printed in magazines over there. So we knew it was like maybe a month or two before the tour started. So when I get over there, I think it was a Friday. I think it was Saturday or Sunday. I was like, yeah, so, when is Jeff coming over? What's the plan for when Jeff's coming over, man? We gotta get to rehearsing. We gotta get ready for this tour, whatever. And they tell me, look, you're gonna be pissed off, but just hear this out. The record company doesn't like the way Jeff looks. They think he's too old. He's got a family. You got a younger guy with the right look. And we've been rehearsing with him for the past, month or so. And we just want you to meet him. I was like, what do you mean the record company? Who at the record company? Who's, like, we got signed as a band. Like, what do you mean the bass player? Like, that was the first break right there. It's like, I can't believe this shit. So the whole time we were talking, whatever, nobody told me about another bass player, whatever. They knew I wouldn't be with it. So I'm overseas now. I this one-way ticket. I don't have no way to get back home, because the first inkling, the first thing I thought was, man, get me the fuck out of here. I'm going back. I have no way to get back. I don't know. No money. So do you throw everything away? Do you say, well, you're in this far, you just go a little bit further? And that's how it works. It's like every step of the way, it's like they keep getting you to go against your principles a little bit more every time. Here, do this. Just do this, and then this will happen. Just do this, and then this will happen. But it never happens. Or it never happens where you think it's going to happen. So that's how Kwame got into the band. It was basically, um, he was like, just come and see, that and Kwame can play. He was good. I wanted to hate Kwame so bad, but he was so nice. Man, I couldn't. It was just, but it was weird, right? So the whole time there, I'm just like, I felt like I was, even though we didn't know Jeff that long because he hadn't been in the band that long, but I was already thinking like, this was the group, we're going to be together forever. Me and Jeff hit it off. Jeff also did not care for Bernard Rhodes. So then when I think back on it, it was like, that's the reason he got Bernard and Yomi over there first, because they would be down with that. They would go along with that. But anyway, the version of the group that you see in the video, that's how that version wound up being, the band that got signed, the band that you actually see on video. But it's kind of like a bittersweet thing. It's kind of like you working so hard for something for so many years, and then when you get it, it's like they're gatekeepers to just keep you from. It's not just about talent. That's why I just feel like I'm not built for the music business. Like, I'm a musician, period, point blank. It's like, of course, I got into music, popular music or whatever. You want to meet chicks, you want to get rich, you know what I'm saying? But as you get more serious about the craft, you become more of a craftsman. You looking deeper into, what music is, what it means to you, that type of thing, which that means shit in commerce, money-wise. I thought that we would at least stick with each other. I really wish we would have waited to see what Corey would have come up with. And the whole narrative that Bernard Rhodes was throwing down was like, nah, there's he's not gonna help you guys because you guys are the competition. Is trying to drive that wedge. I'm thinking like, man, you full of shit. And as it turns out, when we were in the process of recording, matter of fact, when I was recording the guitar solos for the first album, the guy told me that he went to an industry party and he was like, "What's your next project?" And he was like, "Naked Truth." And I'm like, "Oh, Naked Truth, yeah, Atlanta, yeah." There's a lot of people interested in them, but once they found out who the manager was, they was like, "Nope." So Corey actually was out there trying to get us a deal, and I don't know. He did a lot. He didn't have to do shit. He did a lot actually, and I'll never forget it. Who did he have there? There was a guitarist that he had come there because I didn't know shit about getting a guitar sound. I never had like really good equipment or whatever. And I told Corey, I was like, I don't have no amps. I don't have no, I think I had a PV or something. I think I was borrowing Doug's amp to play through on the shows and stuff. So I didn't know how to get a good sound in the studio. And Corey had a guy come that was from the Black Rock Coalition, one of those bands. The name of his band was Royal Pain. I remember him giving me a cassette, but I done lost 3 storage units. 3 storage units over the last 40 years, so ain't no telling where that is. But man, he let me use his amp. He had a Marshall stack. Showed me how to set it up. Let me use the wah-wah pedal. We recorded downtown. That was the first time I ever used a wah-wah pedal. I didn't have one. I don't know, Corey. He really, I think he really wanted to take us under his wing and really see. As a matter of fact, when we toured with them, he used to come out and watch us, watch some of our shows, watch from the side. Him and Doug Wimbish. Doug Wimbish is a bass player for Living Color now. Doug Wimbish actually played on our first album. Guy Sigsworth, who was a producer, worked with him on a bunch of different projects. I think Tackhead and a bunch of stuff. Studio work, different gigs here there, and Doug Wimbish is he's one of the biggest most in-demand studio bass players. He was touring with the Rolling Stones, Annie Lennox. He was between those he was between those 2 tours when Guy had him take a flight in between rehearsals for those 2 tours. And Guy told him, hey, look, come check out this, come do this little 2 or 3 songs, whatever we was working on. I got this group I'm producing here in London. It's a little pop group. It's something real simple. You'll knock it out quick and be out of here, whatever. So Wimbish shows up thinking we're some like little pop group, and he comes in. Man, he has everybody laughing from the jump. And Guy hit the play button, and I think the track was Fight. It was Fight, Black, and something else. And he was looking around. He said, "Who music this? Who wrote this?" And I was like, "I did." He like, okay, he nodding his head to go back to listening. He was like, "So you wrote this?" A few minutes later, right? So every like 10 minutes, he was like, "You wrote this?" I was like, "Yeah, man." This. So he's looking. So Guy later told me that, he had told Doug that, hey, it's some little simple music. It's something you'll knock out real quick. But he was the first thing. I think the first thing we actually recorded was Fight, and it has a different time signature in the beginning, and I'm psyched that he's there. Everybody's hyped, and he's just like, "Hey man, go ahead and plug up with me. Let's let me get it down. So we in there in the studio playing together, and I'm like, I can't believe it. We got Doug Wimbish playing on. Now this is before he joined Living Color. I think they were just starting to talk to him at that time. So and I can't forget who told me. He said that he was asking around about our situation, but as you know, our business was fucked. So ain't no way he was joining us. But he actually played, and then I think we recorded like 3 tracks that night. Got him to track 3 bass parts. It was amazing. So he was all excited to come back and play on the rest of the album. So they booked us a studio in Wales on a fucking goat farm, but it was an elaborate studio. And He actually came and stayed with us. I think it was I think he had like a week or so that he was there. But he actually played on our first album. Um, so that was an amazing experience as well. It was a lot of good stuff, a lot of bad stuff. I'll get more into it. I'm really just rambling right now, but I'll break this stuff down into different videos. Wait a minute. Let me see. I'll break this stuff down where, um, you know, the early days of the band, um, you know, getting the vocalist, the original vocalist, leaving. I think he had to move back home. I can't remember what it was exactly. But he left the group. We got Doug, and then we met Bernard Rhodes, and then that started. And then, at that same time, we were we were killing the Atlanta scene. It was like Masquerade. It got to the point, even Cotton Club. It culminated with us, opening for Living Color at Center Stage, and a lot of different things was happening. And then once they printed in the paper that we signed that deal, that was it. And then we went overseas, and then yeah, I'll break all this down. But anyway, I just wanted to show the video, just get this story out there. I always said one day I was gonna, I guess, tell my side of the experience or talk about it or whatever. I haven't said anything. They get online and tell the story or write a book or something, But every few years, I'll listen to a couple of songs, whatever, and be like, wow, yeah, we was good. What got me this time was realizing it was close to 40 years and 40 years ago, and the relevance of the lyrics that Crockett wrote, they still hit hard today. And it's like damn near nothing has changed. You know, he was so far ahead of his time. I kind of looked at him as like a kid almost, even though he wasn't that much younger. Um, but he was really, he's another guy that was um, a really good person, that, through this whole process that we met, just there's some people that are just kind souls, good people, Corey, Kwame, Crockett. There's some people that, Guy Sigsworth, you're gonna meet some people within, you know, dealing with this stuff that is intrinsically good. Um, Few and far between though. But yeah, I'll do a series or something of videos on this topic. Um, but yeah, this was we recorded 2 albums. We had 2 videos that were getting heavy rotation on MTV Europe. Like I said, we toured the UK 3 times. We toured Europe once. So I do look at it as, guitar took me all over the world. But I just couldn't continue just, letting them chip away pieces of you. It's everybody's got their limits of what they can take or whatever, So I don't know what kind of advice I would give somebody, because everybody's different. So in order to preserve my sanity, I just walked away from it. I left it right where it was. Everybody thought I was crazy, but we really, I'd say the only significant money we got was from publishing deal. It's the only time we actually got a lump sum of money, and you know, I did get studio equipment, guitar, a couple of guitars actually, an amp, you know. It's a long story, but I'll break it down. It's a lot for it's too much for one video, and this is a lot of rambling, but you know, if you're interested in this, I'll probably be putting it up on YouTube. But anyway, this is the full video for Read Between the Lines, which was the first single that we released.
Yeah, you know, things are looking really confused these days, man. Yeah, I know this. You can never tell what's going on the news, the politics, you never know who's telling the truth. Yeah, man, I guess we just want to read between the shit and what we have.
Too much.